Minnesota has thousands of these stormwater ponds that are used for managing runoff. And a lot of times they're in places we don't see. They're maybe behind vegetation or at the edges of parking lots, but a lot of times they are in very visible places. We don't think of them as serving a purpose of stormwater management. Most of these ponds are connected to lakes or streams. They are intended to kind of improve the runoff water quality before it reaches lakes and streams. And so if these ponds are in really poor condition, our lakes and streams will likely be too. Hi, my name is Ben Janke. I am a research associate at the St. Anthony Falls Lab here at the University of Minnesota. I do a lot of work in stormwater and urban hydrology and understanding water quality impacts to urban lakes and streams. The pond assessment tool is a set of spreadsheets that are used to assess stormwater detention ponds for risk of poor phosphorus retention. And we include two components in there. One component is a very simple screening type tool designed to be used with very basic input information. And then we also have a set of tools used for predicting total phosphorus concentration, dissolved oxygen, and anoxic phosphate release rate from sediments in ponds. So the tool itself can help an organization, agency, or a city to prioritize its ponds for maintenance or for further monitoring. So the tool itself is not going to prevent high phosphorus concentrations in ponds or dissolved oxygen or low oxygen in ponds, but it will help identify those ponds that have these problems. And we also have some guidance in some of the materials that go with the pond tool that are also coming out of some of the other research that we've been doing about management and maintenance strategies for alleviating some of those problems of high phosphorus or low oxygen. Those components aren't directly included in the tool, but we do include some guidance on that. I think one of the benefits of this tool to the stormwater management community might be if it is used to assess a large number of ponds, then it gives us just a better picture as a state of how our ponds are doing and how many at-risk ponds we might have. I think that's the primary benefit, is just getting more people thinking about ponds or being able to do something about ponds. I know a lot of the cities are thinking about what to do with the dozens or hundreds of ponds that are under their jurisdiction, but don't really know how to assess them or to do anything about it. And so we're hopeful that this tool provides a means to do that, at least as a first step. Certainly there's more work that could be done in terms of management or additional monitoring, but we're hopeful that this gives us a better picture of what to do with the thousands of stormwater ponds that exist in Minnesota. We have a current project that's focused on the aquatic vegetation in ponds and the impacts on oxygen especially, but also phosphorus. Looking at algae or different species of plants that are present, duckweed, the tree sheltering around ponds. We have a big data set that's come out of that project through a rapid assessment of hundreds of ponds at this point. Primarily because one of the primary results we had early on was that duckweed cover impacts ponds tremendously in terms of its impacts on oxygen and then feedbacks on phosphorus because of that. But a lot of ponds don't have duckweed, so we needed some other components to add to the tool for ponds that didn't have high duckweed cover. We're hoping to take some results from that project and build them into the tool as some additional components for assessment. So the pond assessment tool was assembled primarily by myself and my colleague Purnima Natarajan, and we put this together as a way to distill 7 or 8 years worth of pond studies that we'd worked on along with John Gulliver and Jacques Finlay and a host of others. We were trying to put the results into very practical terms, into something that practitioners could use, as information tends to be buried in reports when we do it in the academic world. For additional information about the pond assessment tool, you can see the original report, which is available online. The tool itself will be available from the stormwater webpage at the St. Anthony Falls Lab. That will be available along with a tutorial and some sample data if you're interested in trying it out. It's important to start seeing ponds and understand that they're part of a bigger system, but we also need to understand that the ponds themselves are providing a very important service for the things that they're living in and around them, including the people who also enjoy having a pond or having a water feature near them.